Girls are getting tired of hookup culture because I feel like I'm seeing more and more videos now of women who are just quite frankly fed up of dating. And I think that also explains why less and less women are on dating apps.
We were at the Carnegie Club. I caught him talking to a girl on his Instagram. He made a scene and left in front of everyone. So Happy New Year, everyone. When does it get better? I'm so tired. I'm so fucking tired.
I've just been ghosted / like stood up on knees. So if you're a male, please leave me alone in 2022.
I hate the fact they fall apart for boys that don't even deserve me.
How come every time you have sex with someone they leave?
I am so over trying to date.
I think biologically, when we get back to biology, I think that one of the reasons that hookup culture affects women so badly is because even just the nature of having sex with a man is very internal for women. Like, you're literally entering a woman's body. It's intimate by nature.
The reason why it's so hard for women is one of the main thing is women go so much of their life not being rejected that they have all the power. If you stop and look at the video, most of these women were up in age. They were over the age of 25, which means that their looks are not working anymore. And guys only see you as a sex object the older that you're getting. Hookup culture has told men it is okay for them not to commit with you. Feminism has told men it is okay for you not to be a man. The overall women's rights movement has completely destroyed them because it caused men to lose respect for women. Once men lose respect for women, then they don't care if they ghost you. They don't care if they just use you because you programmed them to. Now in the comments, Jay says, now let's talk about females doing this to genuine men. He's absolutely right. A lot of women are going to do this to genuine men. Amanda says, feminism is a woman's downfall. They're getting what they're feeding into. Being traditional is by far better. It is better, but unfortunately, we're not living in traditional times. We're living inside the Matrix, and the Matrix has a life of its own. Electric Quack says, these narcissist women chase the top 5% of men that treat them like trash because they can, and then they blame the other 95% of men that did nothing. He is absolutely right. Most of these girls that you see crying in the video can have a good guy, but they're crying because the guy that they want did not want them back.
You are lying to yourself about hookup culture. Casually hooking up and getting into situationships that don't go anywhere is unfortunately so toxic to you as a woman. But society has made you believe it's okay. Doesn't really matter. This is why it matters. Number one, giving up your body adds to another layer of pain that's inevitably going to come when this man does not commit to you. Number two, you're giving yourself up to a man who has his own history, who might operate from his own wounded places, who might create more insecurities for you, who probably has his own erotic thoughts and desires that might not even align to yours. Number three, you're disconnecting to your body. Hookup culture makes you believe that you're gonna get more experience. That's really not true. Every time you get into a new relationship, it's a new body to learn anyways. And what you should be learning is your own body, what feels good to you. Because the truth is, majority of women disconnect from their own bodies to connect to his.
And she's absolutely right. The more a woman sleeps around, the faster she's going to age because she is taking on a man. But society has women feeling like you can be liberated, you'll learn your body. At the same time, you'll be more experienced for the guy that you end up with. It doesn't work that way with a man. When a man is with you and you start to show signs of being overly experienced, it's a typical turn off to him, but a turn on in the bed. When a man is looking for marriage, he's not looking for a woman that's experienced in the bed. He's looking for something he can teach his wife, not something his wife can teach him. In the comments, Aubrey said, situations are bad, but hookups can be fun. Don't expect commitment or exclusively from a hookup. And she's absolutely right. But unfortunately, when it comes to hookup culture, a lot of women go through hookup culture for power, not for the experiences. They're hoping that they can have control over the man. Hope says, yes, soul ties are a real thing. You're absolutely right. The more she spreads her legs, the more she's giving a piece of her up. It's called telegamy. Every time a man is inside of her, she keeps a piece of him. T says, yep, I'm not built for it. My heart is too fragile. A lot of women's hearts are too fragile to just keep giving their heart to a lot of guys. But you have to understand, guys, you can't turn a bad girl good. When a good girl is going bad, she's going forever.
Hookup culture doesn't work, and it's because of brain chemistry. When a woman experiences an orgasm, she gets a release of both oxytocin and dopamine. Now, oxytocin forcibly bonds you to the person that helped you experience that orgasm, so you feel closer to them after sex. That's why women after sex usually want to cuddle. They feel closer. Now, men don't have the same experience. They do get some oxytocin, but it actually moves the semen. It doesn't actually make them bond to the other person in the same way at that moment. Men mostly get dopamine. It's more like eating your favorite hamburger. Now, a man can eat this favorite hamburger 1,000 times, but he's not going to fall in love with it. He's going to come back and he's going to associate that dopamine release with feeling good. And that's the booty call over and over and over. It's just not going to happen. Men and women are just too different. You're going to end up thinking he's your best friend. He'll think you are his favorite hamburger. Don't do that to yourself. I'm Adam Lane Smith, an attachment specialist.
He's absolutely right. Men put off pheromone, women accept pheromone. This is why women feel dirty faster and suffer more moods. Her body is constantly accepting DNA, and men's bodies are putting off DNA. This is why men do not feel dirty. It can go days without showering. It's because how we are chemically inclined. That's why I tell a lot of guys, men can sleep with a lot of women and still give his heart to one. But when it comes to a woman, the more guys she sleep with, the less she's going to be available to give her heart to any man. In the comments, ZD says, is this why I fall in love with myself every day? Probably, because you have to instead of falling in love with different men. Manny says, as the behavior therapist, I'll say since most women don't have an O with a man, no attachment issues. You're right. They're going to have more attachment issues with the more guys that they sleep with. Heather Kaiser says, as a woman who's had multiple hookup phases in my life, it's always the men who get attached. Not once I have had the problem. Guess mine is broke. You are dealing with simps. If you're trying to have power in sex, then you're going to go with simps and beta males. Simps and beta males are the easiest to manipulate into love. But when you try to throw the sex at a guy that you like, chances are he's going to accept it, but he's going to reject your love. And when men reject your love, that's typically what women cannot handle.
Spoken about being a virgin, which I think is interesting. Are you against hookup culture?
I'm not against hookup culture. I personally don't participate because for me, I need to have an emotional attachment to someone to do even anything, like even just kissing someone. Like I could never just like kiss someone at like a club or something. I would just personally go home feeling disgusted. But I think I'd be lacking self-awareness if I projected that like visceral reaction onto the whole population, because I know a ton of girls who go home after one night stands and have like the best night's sleep of their life because they feel just so restored that they could indulge their sexual urges without any emotional messiness. People will tell me that I have internalized misogyny because I'm a virgin, and people will tell my friends with high body counts that they don't respect themselves. I don't think your pussy needs to be like a soldier for feminism or like an ideological movement. I think you should just check in with yourself and see how you feel at the end of the day. That's why it's hard for me to just condemn or approve hookup culture.
All the time, when it comes to hookup culture, the difference between you and a woman is that a woman uses sex for power. So when you see women out here just having sex with different guys and getting the best sex of their life and getting the best sleep, it's because they feel like they have overpowered the man and they've gotten away from the man. They can see that the man is trying to fall in love with them and they're able to reject him. So they try to give weak men the best sex just so they can turn around and reject them. That's why she says she has friends that's okay with hookup culture, because to them, it's just a form of power. In the comment, Gikura says, I don't understand why people can't understand the concepts of it's not for me, but I'm just against it. A lot of women are against it, but we're living in a time where women have been groomed into liberation. Yes says, yes, this is right on, because literally the same. Another one says, Lukey says, I never stutter. okay, what's happening here is that people are understanding that hookup culture is just a form of illusion. At some point, emotionless sex is just not worth it.
I say this with love when I say this. Some of you women are driving down the price of coochie. And that's why there are good women out there going in the dating market, getting hurt, getting trash treatment, because somewhere a woman has tolerated that in the name of, oh, I'm just having fun. It's just casual. No, like, respect yourself even when you're doing it casually. These men have no other options. It's not like they're about to go fuck goats, bro. They're gonna keep having sexual relationships with women, and they're gonna pay whatever the market demands. Do you understand that? Do you understand how supply and demand works? Do you understand that you are the single driving force for why prices are dropping and it's not the fucking recession? Do you understand?
I said in my song, ain't nobody hanging old trophies on the shelf. What does that mean? That means girls that used to look good, when they give it up so much, ain't nobody looking to go after you anymore. So yes, the price of coochie is going down from women giving it up, but women are giving it up for power. They're giving it up for attention, which is something that money cannot buy. So girls would rather feel wanted and feel loved more than having a man who could provide for them. That's the times that we're living in now. In the comments, Perry Shockley says, Dave Chappelle says, y'all flooded the market and your stock is plummeting. Absolutely right. To the point where any guy can get women now. I kind of feel sorry for a man who cannot get a woman. Gigi says, well, there's an absolute market outside of America. There is a market, but that market still has more women than men that are pursuing them. You have good girls in other countries, but there's not enough guys to keep up with the girls. There's by far way more women on the planet than there is men. Actually, the ratio is 4 to 1.
I've seen so many women leaving and having to work on relationships that honestly did not even exist. You're having to spend time, energy, money, grieving a relationship that actually didn't exist. Do that 5, 10, 15 times when the actual relationship shows up. Now you can't trust this guy.
And she's absolutely right, because she's in hookup culture. Hookup culture is not a real relationship. It's a quick booty call for the man. Once the man starts looking at you as a booty call, it's going to be hard for him to look at you as a girlfriend. Once again, this is why women power always goes back to the beta male simp. In the comments, we got Jessica Sadie says, this is so true. They're grieving what could have been, but wanted to be, but not what it actually was. Okay, absolutely. And guess what, guys? It's the same thing for you. You come online after you get hurt by a woman watching all these fake scenarios, and then you start to get mad at women based off of situations you have never been in. When it comes to love and it comes to sex, it releases the most amount of dopamine throughout the body. This is why people care about it so much, and it's talked about on a day-to-day basis. But when it's all said and done, if there's no emotion behind it and the person doesn't like you back and you're just giving out the goods just to give it up, you deserve everything that happens to you. This is Anthony Spade. Hopefully you guys got the message behind the video. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Hasta la vista.